I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey friends, Brian Santos here, and this is Quarantine with the Stars here on AfterBuzz TV. Today I am joined by an amazing chef from the Great American Baking Show. This is Chris Tucker. Chris, thanks for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me.
I am so excited. Thank you so much for being here. Let's just jump right in. I want to kind of check in with you and see how you're doing. So kind of how are you doing with everything that's happening in the world right now?
Do you know what? We are living in a really heavy time, right? First, we were hit with obviously the coronavirus and everybody kind of being locked inside. And then obviously there's just a ton of stuff going on in our world when it comes to relations with race and what that looks like for people that have been silenced for a really long time. So it's a very trying time, but it's also a super powerful time to just make sure that you're being a part of the movement that's going on. So it's been nice kind of transitioning out of that quarantine state and going into the streets and hitting the pavement and really making sure that, our voices are being heard so we can see some change within our community.
I love that so much. I 100% agree. Now, that things are kind of opening up, we can kind of get out there and use our platform for good. I kind of checked out one of the protests last week in West Hollywood, and it was amazing to see the turnout. So that's been amazing. How have you been doing? Like, what have you been doing to keep busy during quarantine?
I mean, obviously, just like everybody else, when the world kind of shut down, we had to change our business model. At the time, we were in several different coffee shops here in Los Angeles, supplying to them, and it turned into one of those things where money kind of went away overnight. So not only did we have to refocus and say, what are we going to do moving forward to sustain our business, but also how are we going to be able to make a social impact with COVID-19 relief? And so we started to just really switch up what we were doing, offering a quarantine menu that we delivered here locally. And then we started getting a lot of outreach asking if we could ship. So we implemented that really quick because we weren't shipping at the time. And we were able to start sending things out nationwide. So that was really cool as well.
I love that so much. You're based in Los Angeles, right?
Yes.
I heard you had some orders or some run-ins with celebrities.
Yeah. So that was one of the really cool things. People you never really know who's following or who's watching what you're doing. And so I had some celebrity orders come through, and I haven't had a bad interaction with anybody from, Kristen Cavallari to Sky Marshall to Justin Anderson. Everybody has been just so amazing, and they're reaching out for self orders, but then they try the stuff and they're like, wait a second, this is a really great opportunity for us to just give back to our employees that are working right now from home, and they're under a lot of stress as well. So I know Kristen and Justin both, they sent a massive amount of stuff to just their employees. So it was really cool to see how much they care for what's going on in their community and in their world at the same time.
I love that so much. So are these the baking kits that's kind of helping with the COVID relief effort?
Yeah, so we have two baking kits. We have a gluten-free vegan chocolate chip cookie kit, and then we also have a gluten-free cinnamon swirl coffee cake. And those two things, why we chose them, they were our two most popular recipes being ordered. So we decided to put them in a kit and allow people to have some type of activity to do at home with their kids. And also we are donating a portion of those proceeds to the COVID-19 Relief Fund.
I love that so much, Chris. You've been doing such amazing things during these times. I think it's amazing how, as a business owner, as a personality, you use your platform for good. You help with what's happening in the world. So I love that. So let's kind of jump back a little bit before we get into what you're doing now. I kind of want to know more about you. So tell me your story, how you kind of went from, I believe you're a hairstylist to a TV baker.
Yeah, I moved out to Los Angeles. I grew up baking, first of all. Like that's kind of the start. It's always been there. It was something that I did with my grandma growing up. And I never really thought of it to be a career. Everybody used to tell me like, oh, your hair always looks so good. I was always like running my hands through people's hair. I did a girlfriend's hair for prom one year. And it just became one of those things where I thought, because of all the outside voices, that I should go to cosmetology school. And I knew right away I didn't want to go to cosmetology school and be stuck behind the chair in Florida, because that's where I'm originally from. So I thought, well, if I'm going to do hair, I want to do hair in a big city for the stars. So enter Los Angeles. I never really moved out here with any aspirations of being on TV or anything of that nature. It just kind of all fell into place. So yeah, I did hair for almost a decade. I came out here, got my cosmetology license, got into a shop, did hair for almost a decade. And then I met my husband, and my husband said to me, you know, you're so great at baking. I don't know why you don't just pursue it, because I can see that's where the passion is. And it was just kind of something that naturally happened. It just naturally unfolded, and I started creating recipes of my own instead of always being, you know, tied to a recipe book. And it just is a natural thing that I have. And I'm really grateful that now I get to do something every day that feels like a hobby, but I get to make a living doing it.
I love that so much. That is always what everyone says, you know, like if you're really passionate about something, if you love what you're doing, it's not work, you're really just living it.
Right.
So I love that so much. You mentioned kind of like the coffee cake and the cookie. So what are some of your other favorite things to bake?
I'm really into scones right now.
Ooh, I love a good scone.
I feel like once you get a good recipe down, they're really easy to change up. And so we have several different gluten-free and vegan options when it comes to our scones. And right now we're actually doing a Pride partnership with the Trevor Project. We're donating a portion of all of our proceeds that go, that are from those sales. So we have two different things online, one being a scone. It's a rainbow scone. And then we also have a rainbow celebration cake. So people can order. And, you know, as we mentioned, the world is kind of opening back up, right? But it's probably best to still stay home when you can. And if you can celebrate with a few friends in your house, we felt like we need to be doing something right now that gives back to the Trevor Project, because they do such amazing work in our community, lifting up the LGBTQ youth constantly and just providing that support that a lot of people don't have from home. And so we wanted to team up with an organization that we would be able to give back to. And so a portion of proceeds from both of those items are going to help support the Trevor Fund and their continued efforts and support in our LGBTQ community.
I love that so much, Chris. You know, as a fellow member of the community myself, I love what you're doing with that work. The Trevor Project is a huge organization, like you mentioned, for our community. So I love that. Let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about the Great American Baking Show. What was that experience like for you?
Oh man, it was, if I said it wasn't stressful, I would be sitting here telling a lie, but it was so much fun. First of all, we shot in London. So we were all sequestered to London, and we got to live in our own apartments for the duration of the show. And you know, they have really amazing products over there when it comes to just the freshness of their ingredients. And so just to get over there and really be able to play in a different world of culinary was so fun. And the people on set were amazing. We just had an amazing crew, and it was a great time. I would never not do it again.
I love that so much. Is there anything else you want to do in the TV world? Do you want to get into like having your own TV cooking show? Like what's next?
Yeah, you know, right now I'm just keeping all of those options open. After the show, I was contacted to do, you know, several different other challenge-based food shows, but I just decided that it wasn't really for me. I don't want to continue down the world of always being somebody on TV that's competing. I'm really looking more into hosting my own show, and just be like a support system for other people that never thought they would have a career in this type of industry.
I love that. You know, you mentioned your grandmother, that you kind of grew up baking with her. Is she someone that inspires you as a chef?
She did inspire me. You know, her style was very, let's throw this together. It was very not She wasn't classically trained by any means, but she also passed away from lung cancer when I was really young. So by the time I believe I was in 8th grade, I was already doing like the full dessert spreads for all of our family functions when it came to the holidays because nobody else was in the kitchen with her like I was. So it was nice to have those memories in my back pocket and have those little skills that she taught me. And I can always, even nowadays, I can feel her next to me in the kitchen at times, and I can just hear her telling me, baking takes time, just slow down. The process is the process, and if you rush it, it's not going to come out good. Like I can always hear her giving me these little bits of advice as I'm in the kitchen and developing new recipes, or maybe struggling to get a cake supported well, or something of that nature. I can just always hear her giving me a little nudge of support.
That's amazing. She is definitely right there with you in the kitchen, and you can tell. Besides your grandma, who inspires you, like from the celebrity world? Like, who are some of your celebrity chef inspirations?
I mean, I actually fell in love with a ton of chefs when I was in London. I was kind of there, and on the free time, I did little tours of bakeries by myself. I would just take the train in, and there's so many phenomenal. We had one of our judges on the show was actually Sherry Yard, and she is just an inspiration to everyone. I think that she, when it comes to the dessert space in general, she's just a trailblazer. And so I take a lot of inspiration from her and just kind of keep track of what she's doing. Also, Claire, she was the person who did the cake for the royal wedding. She's actually a California native. So she used to live here and then she moved to London. So I just take a lot of influence from her really rustic, natural style of baking. And I think that she's, somebody to definitely keep your eye on.
That's amazing, Chris. You've done so much already, and I'm so excited to see what you do next. So what is next for you? What can we expect from you next when quarantine is officially over?
Well, when quarantine is officially over, I think that you can just expect to continue to see a lot of me. I want to continue to put myself out there. I want to continue to align myself with brands that are doing, this social justice work, or at least using their platform to speak up about it. I think that we live in a time where if you're not promoting things as a company, you're not using your voice, and you have millions of followers, there's something to be said for that. And so I know.
Definitely.
During this new normal that we're in, I've gone through and done a lot of digging on different companies that I work with, and if I didn't see them posting anything in support of this amazing Black Lives Matter movement that we're all in, I just simply emailed them and said, hey, I want to continue working with you guys, but we have to have the same morality. And checking in with companies that you spend your money with. Are the companies that you buy your products for your shop, are they socially conscious? Are they posting things? Are they using their platform? Because I think it's important for us to know that where we put our money, that's where we also put our values. And so, after this, I want to keep on doing more work like this. We're always going to be a company that gives back and supports the cause, that supports the underdog. But I think there's going to be some pretty cool things coming in the future. I'm again going to go after that show. There's a few things in the works when it comes to that. And then also, hoping for a book deal. So I'm talking to some people this week regarding that, and we'll see what we can get going in lines of a cookbook.
That's amazing, Chris. What I love what you said right there was just the fact that you don't just brush those companies off. Like you reach out to educate, because, there's certain fast food restaurants that I don't frequent because of the values that they hold, but it's amazing how you can easily just say, no, I'm not going to go there. Or you can reach out and say, hey, you should do better, and you should use your platform for good. So I absolutely love that. Chris, it's been such a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much.
You
It's been an
too.
absolute delight. Before we head out of here, where can your fans find you on social media?
So they can find me at Butta with Butta, and there's an underscore between all three words. So it's Betta_with_Butta. And then also on my website, it's bettawithbutta.com. And right now we are doing a Bakers Against Racism. And that's just for this week. It's a global bake sale that's going on. And all of the funds from those items that are posted on our online store go directly to Black Lives Matter Los Angeles. So it's really our way to just, again, give back. So right now, it's kind of one of those things, no matter where you stand morally, there are 3 different ways that you can give back and also have something sweet delivered to your home.
I love that so much. Everybody, make sure you do that. I am probably gonna, right when we log out, gonna go and buy some baked goods for myself because that's amazing. I love baked
Yes,
good with a message, with a message of support. So that's
that's
amazing.
right.
Chris, thank you so much again for being here. I am your host, Brian Santos. You can find me on all social platforms at the Brian Santos. This has been Quarantine with the Stars with Chris Tucker. Check out all the amazing things he's doing on his social media, on his website, and check out all the baked goods he has because they're obviously delicious. Thank you guys so much for tuning into Quarantine with the Stars here on AfterBuzz TV. We will see you next time. Bye.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.